WV Uncommonplace. This podcast is a variety podcast that houses numerous series to cover mental health, empowerment, podcast framework, and various intimate theories to get to know the hosts. Along with occasional movies reviews and dives in pop culture with our event podcast episodes. The Uncommonplace digs into bringing guests on that stories don't fit the mold and are very different. WV stands for the great state of West Virginia, and every quarter we cover something in West Virginia. Stacy and myself, JR, are your hosts, so please come along for this venture to Uncommonplace.
Hey everybody, I'm JR.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is West Virginia Uncommonplace, the regular show, not that extra other crap. And we're here to talk about something that's really important to us today. And that subject matter is statistics, analytics, and I say analytics, and analytics, all that other shit that goes along with doing content and being a content creator. And yes, I use the cuss word. We're a fun show here. And everybody knows that I run a circus out here. Now, what Stacy and I have done and what we have learned is that when we were at Podfest sorry about that, y'all. I had that little, you get the fake burp and it's like in your body.
Yep.
That just happened there. Stacy and I just decided that we were going to use the assets that make sense. You have schedulers for your social media, and I advise everybody, if you develop a system for it or a workflow,
yes,
you can make it make sense to any content, even if you do not do a video show. And I know that there are haters out there to the static images and different things like that, and social media gurus that want to say, hey, do this, do that. And I want to say this. I have sat here and I've statistically done this with YouTube, TikTok, and I want to be honest, Facebook was kind of hard. Facebook, their scheduling process, if it was more open-ended like TikTok and YouTube, I would use it more. But the time that it takes to put into that Meta Business Suite, it is daunting and a little, makes me angry.
Okay.
So, Stacy.
Yes.
Tell us how you became a podcast producer and how you started becoming a content planner and how you decided times and different things on doing your show.
Well, so I guess I should start out by explaining my helping you before. So let's say before January 1st of 2025. I'd show up, do this with you. You would do everything else, basically. I'd try to like and share the stuff that you posted. A little bit later on, once I started getting the hang of the TikTok thing and Headliner, you introduced me to that, was our first type of automation. Yeah. The first part of automation that I learned how to do.
The audiograms.
Yeah, so it was simple. And I'm the type of person, simple and minimalistic, I'm going to get the best out of it for me. And so I'm like, okay, this is simple. I just click this button, hit share, type whatever the heck I want into it, and go about my business. We have a show that releases once a week. Sparrow's Under Review. It comes out every Tuesday. And so Tuesday mornings, the Headliner would drop. Usually by Wednesday or Thursday, I would have it posted until Headliner started acting up, which it still gives me issues here and there. I wanted to do the support with the email chat group. They couldn't help me there. They wanted me to make a phone call. I don't do phone calls. If you can't fix it in the text or email chain, I'm not going to mess with you. I'm just going to find someone else. But we were able to meet them at Podfest, get a little things, figure it out. I'm still having problems with it, but I don't know if that's maybe an iOS issue. Maybe there's some bugs in there that needs fixed, because they did do a lot more with their web-based stuff. So that's where I'm still getting my TikTok and now YouTube, Facebook. What am I doing? I'm doing TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Yes.
So those are the 4 places that I took over posting content from Headliner for now. Hopefully we can find something. Because Riverside has something that we're going to look into, right?
Right. We're going to test them out. We're actually doing a test episode with them a little bit later on. When we get our aesthetics looking good. Because we just came back from the Philadelphia parade the day before, and we just woke up. It's a Saturday. We're chilling. It's not even 12 o'clock.
Right.
Normally by this time we're just eating breakfast, or we really don't do too much on Saturday.
We don't. I mean, we're up usually moving and running around. I mean, we don't sleep in anymore. We're usually up by between 6 and 7.
Yeah. So
I think this morning I was up at 6:30 bothering you.
So like right around this time is normally my lunchtime or my first lunch.
Right. Because you have 5.
Right.
So on top of that, we have started doing stuff with ChatGPT.
Yes.
And again, it's simplistic. It's easy. It's, you can train it basically. So what I have done is I have inputted, hey, always include these hashtags. Always keep it at a minimum. It was doing something funky there, and I had to tell it, say, hey, quit doing that. And I've been able to kind of create the content that I feel enjoyable with. You know, everybody might not like it and they might think it's stupid, but I'm fine with it. I'm okay with the numbers, the views and stuff like that I'm getting right now. As we go on and I start learning and I get more comfortable and start taking on more of the workload, we can tweak, and I'm always open to listening to what you have to say or anybody has to say. But it has to be simple and it has to make sense. It has to be worth my time, or, you know, worth replacing my time. Like if I can spend 10 minutes in Headliner, ChatGPT, and Good Pods. Like, I don't know if I've mentioned to you, but Good Pods is where I get the descriptions. So when you post the episodes and it gets spread out, Good Pods is the only one that I found where I can copy and paste the description and put it in my ChatGPT.
Okay, so that makes it a whole lot easier. And you notice right there, audience, that she just gave y'all a workflow right there. So podcasters that listen to the show, right there, you got it for the first time from Stacy. She gave you the Stacy method of advertising and marketing. And the key thing...
Now, there are a few other things that I'm not going to sit there and tell you every single thing that I'm doing. But you are more than welcome to schedule a session with JR on Fridays, which is $20. Which will include all of that information as well.
Right. Anytime, any Friday. Now, here's the thing. What I liked about what you told, you told about the structure and all that. And the thing that we did that the gurus do not like is the multi-posting and all this extra stuff. But let me give you this. I mean,
it depends on who you talk to. This person says you need to post 4 times a day. You need to post on every platform. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do that. And then you have some that says, I only post once or twice a day. I'm not posting on every platform. If they want to find me, they're going to find me here. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it depends on what result you get and what works for you.
Yes.
You know, you might have to post 10 times a day to get the traction that you need. But if you're already well-versed in a specific area, you might only need to do that area. It's whatever you want to achieve.
Yeah, and I can go with it. I like that. Now, personally, what I was doing for analytics and statistics, I was posting at different times. I did 72 clips on YouTube Shorts in 1 week because I wanted to look at different variables. And I noticed that one of my podcasting buddies, after they seen that I did 71 times, they stopped looking at all my information. They were upset about that. So to that buddy out there, I noticed you, and I know you noticed that I noticed you. But anyway,
So, like, you felt like they were over-flooded with you, basically?
I felt that they thought that my statistics, like I was doing too much. But in the sweep of things, I took clips. I went to...
I'm still stuck on that. So it's not like you saw this person watching this stuff and then all of a sudden they stopped watching?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah, because basically I shared, because YouTube Studios gave me all of my analytics,
Okay.
and I posted them for other content creators on my Facebook story.
Okay.
Because I was like, hey, I put out this to show y'all that I'm doing different areas, different times,
Okay.
to show like what's going to work for me. So if I know that 7 o'clock on a Wednesday is good for posting,
Mhm.
I'm going to have different variables and times, because that's what I wanted, variables.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to know what day is conditioned for the listener. Are they prepared for the episode being released on YouTube, being
Okay.
released on as a podcast? So many different ways I wanted to see how it helps the upcoming release.
Okay.
On the second part, what I was doing, what you're doing, is the repurposing of content.
Right.
I'm doing that to see if what mood and how do people feel. At 5 o'clock, do you want to hear about The Simpsons? Or is it better to hear about The Simpsons at 9 o'clock when you're already rested and you're deciding on what you're going to watch on Hulu, Disney Plus, or one of those places?
Okay.
And you
then
can sponsor me anytime.
so basically what you're saying, and for anybody that's out there, these things are going to be trial and error.
Yes.
Just because 9 p.m. posting about The Simpsons gets you 1,000 views, Terry from Toledo post at 9 p.m. about The Simpsons only gets 100 views. Well, that's not his audience, what his audience wants. So he is going to have to, trial and error and see where he gets his most views and interactions and stuff like that. So, okay, that's making sense. I just had to get clarification.
And then in deeper sense with me with the interviews and session show, I'm seeing what type of guests, what type of volume do they pull at different times of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Does someone want to hear about a lady that goes from being a nun to a bartender, or from
a bartender to a nun?
Or does someone want to hear about a lady that was in Seinfeld as a recurring character?
Yeah.
Do they want to hear about them in the morning, afternoon, or evening?
I feel like hers would be in the morning.
Right. And I mean, statistics, we'll go over them later. Yeah. It's fun to look at those things because you can see it right there in your face. And that's what I'm trying to build for our product.
Okay.
And I teach this, and I talk about this in listener migration, about the actual people leaving the YouTube to this and that. And not going into heavy detail about all that, because we don't want to make a whole episode about all this analytical stuff.
Right.
I will say this. It was harder for me to pull people from Facebook to my podcast than anywhere else. But I always hear from everybody else that there's, different things to be done. So I know that Facebook, I got to work on that audience a little bit more. I've got to figure out what I need to put over on Facebook and Instagram. And even from LinkedIn, I've noticed that when I'm able to put certain things on there, I don't put a lot of content heavily on there, because when I'm over there, I'm looking for business. It just makes sense how we do things over there.
Right, but you have always been the type of person that hasn't catered to Facebook.
Right.
And that's okay, because Facebook isn't your cup of tea. You're hardcore in Instagram. Me, I'm the opposite. I prefer Facebook over Instagram. I'm not on there very often. I'll tell you, I put more time and content into Sparrows Under Review Instagram than I do my personal one. I mean, I think this week is the first time I'd posted in a while over there on my personal page.
Okay. And see, I like that. And and then people talk like this takes a lot of time to do all this. You prioritize listeners, podcasters, content creators, what time you want to put into it. Mm-hmm. Do I put a lot of time into it? No, but this is what I do. When I make time for this, I set aside 2 hours, and we do 2 weeks worth of content, or even a month's worth of content right then and there.
Right.
And I sit back, and then I wait and let that stuff come out. And with me doing an interview show, I have an interview every week, which I slowed that down a little bit because I was getting way too much content. And hell, I was producing more content, and I don't even have the podcast ready even in any form right now.
Right. And that's the thing. When you do decide to bulk or batch record, you do sometimes run into the issue of, oh my gosh, I have too much content. How do I put it out there? And you have to think, like, say today I'm doing an episode about Dr. Pepper. So I'm recording my episode today. I want to go ahead and keep my workflow. I want to get these shorts created. I want to get the posts created. I want to do this and this and this. but I already have enough content that I'm not going to release my Dr. Pepper episode until July the 1st.
Right.
So there are some scheduling platforms where you can only do 30 days in advance. TikTok, I believe, is one of them.
Yes, it is.
The other ones I haven't dug that deep into, but I did notice that this morning, because when Sparrow's under review, what I'm doing currently is taking the episodes that I have posted under my personal account and I'm re-releasing them on Sparrow's under review. And I had 2 Halloween episodes that I wanted to push out a little bit further because, you know, it's February. Who wants to hear about candy corn? And it wouldn't let me do it. It would only let me go up 30 days.
Damn.
Right.
Might have to jump on Hootsuite.
Right. But Hootsuite is so expensive. So if there's anybody out there that knows of a platform that is like Hootsuite, but is more affordable monthly, please let me know.
And that's one other thing I want to tell everybody. With everything that we're doing right now, I don't look at any part of this for a return on investment because I didn't invest any money in this.
Right.
This is something
I'm not paying anything for any of the stuff I'm doing.
Right now, I'm not paying anything. And the amazing thing about YouTube, I will say when you're planning stuff, if you get into there and you finagle the bagel and look at the audience that you actually want to target, it will target a proper audience for you for free. That's something that I haven't dug into heavily.
Right.
Which I want to do in the next phase of content creation. And to naysayers on video, I'm going to say this. Do your podcast how you want to. Audio, video, it doesn't matter.
Right. As long as you're happy with the results, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Right. And just the last thing I want to leave here, and this is for anyone that's starting out new in podcasting, because I've been dealing with some individuals that are starting out new. Your equipment at the beginning of what you do will help post-production.
That is the most important part that I have learned. This is our 3rd year at PodFest this past January. And that is one of the most important things that I feel isn't talked about enough. Or maybe we just didn't attend those sessions because, and we've experienced that with our stuff. Whenever you do the noise reduction thing on Podcastle, our episodes sound awful, right?
Right. Only thing I can use from them is audio leveling.
Okay, yeah. So you just have to mess with it, and it's another trial and error. But if you are going to invest in your podcast, you need to invest in the microphone and a headset. Do not try to record an episode without the proper microphone and a headset. You have to be able to hear yourself.
That monitoring goes so deep, and that's something that even when we had the cheap equipment, always make sure we had headphones. That was one of your key things.
Right. And I told you, like, I can't record with you because I have to be able to hear myself. And you're like, well, you can use this. I said, but I can't hear you. So how am I going to know that we're whatever? And at first you were like, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it does matter. And like, it took you hearing it from somebody else to realize, oh, okay, well, you didn't say it, but maybe Stacy was right, and we have to have a good headset.
Right. So that's the key thing there. So on that note, I want to thank Stacy for coming back to the show after so long.
It hasn't been that long.
I mean, it's been kind of long. I mean, you come through for the wrestling stuff and the cameos.
I mean, you know.
I mean, you're busy with your all-star show, so, you know. Other than that.
Or maybe it's because you don't invite me.
Oh. Well, on that note, everyone knows where you can catch us on your favorite podcatcher. And I said podcatcher. And if someone, I had a friend of mine ask me what a podcatcher was. It is the thing that catches your RSS feed. It's an actual word. I am a linguist, and that's something that I like people to understand. So on that note, let's just go ahead and let this British lady take us out of here.
Please follow WV Uncommonplace on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at oncommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website, and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening, and tune into the next episode.